whole scene in the liquor store is just
him trying to drink.
And there's Gavin Rossdale snooping around at the back next to the Twinkie section.
Is he a Twinkies man or is he a chocolate Hostess cupcakes man?
If he's a demon, there's only one Hostess treat, the snowball, which is the most disgusting and weird thing ever invented.
So would I recommend this movie?
Welcome to the show, folks. This week we're talking about the 2005 classic, not quite science fiction, but close enough. There you go, Christploitation movie called Constantine, starring everybody's favorite, Keanu Reeves. Also, Rachel Weisz, Pruitt Taylor Vince, and the guy from Bush, and Djimon Hounsou, who we love. And of course, what's her face from the beach. Let's get the show started.
Matilda
Tildo Baggins.
High level. Tildo Baggins. Go ahead. High level.
In the green room, Benny was like, and I have to say this viewing didn't grab me, but I still love this movie. Like, I don't know. I've got a serious bit of nostalgic love for this random ass demon-y movie from the early 2000s. And I, for whatever reason, as a non-believer, have a fascination with some of these movies, you know, like The Prophecy and even Devil's Advocate and all that kind of stuff. So
I don't know. You guys turned me on to this movie. Ben in particular turned me on to this
Christian
movie.
fiction, exactly. Yeah.
Christian fiction. There you go. So, Benny, lay it down. What do you got, man?
Were you done, Chad?
Yeah. I mean, like, my high level is like, I love it, but like, woo, let's figure out a way to talk about it because I don't know what to fucking say.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I mean, I've loved this movie in the past. I think Keanu's really good in it. I think there's a lot to like. Just for some reason, I don't know. Maybe I've worn my welcome out with it. I just found myself feeling distracted and bored through most of it until Peter Stormare got on camera, and then I was like, yes, this is why I watched this movie. Like,
so
that
good.
Third act, you know. It was terrific. So like I was reinvigorated by that point, but I'm like, well, it doesn't make any sense to watch a movie to enjoy the last 15 minutes of it or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, we can focus on what you know to be
Stormare.
good from past viewings. Well, no, dude. I mean, clearly, it sounds like some just movie fatigue to me.
It was just kind of homework. I don't know.
Total. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get it, but we've all been there, man.
Poor timing.
Yeah.
You know, it just wasn't. I was psyched to hear that was what was picked, and when I sat down in front of it, I was just like, you know?
Yeah, right. I get that. I get it. We've all been there, man. It's also like, what kind of week did you have? Were you exhausted?
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
We
We all have jobs, you know?
Sure.
100%.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I get that 100%. And I could tell by your response when I mentioned it the other day in the thread that you were excited about it. And I was glad because you turned me on to this movie, Ben. So, I had actually, you know, kind of eye rolled when this movie came out. I was like, yeah, right, Christian fiction, whatever. And, you know, you were like, oh, this is really, really good. And Shad, same. And this was back in the day when the three of us could get together in the same room virtually anytime we wanted to. And it was fun.
Yeah.
So
lots of fun.
I
didn't have to worry about weird streaming services failing and,
Exactly.
and syncing audio,
boat
and
times, and let me drag my
bullshit.
kids up so they can see C-Lab and Jarhigo in person and ask about the what a yada needy bobo thing. So I have since you know, as with most things, if one of the two of you is like, hey, this is really good, I sort of take that as gospel, right? Sometimes I change my mind afterward, but like I rolled this movie. Then you guys were like, oh, this is really good. So I checked it out, and then I became a fan of the movie. And I think it's one of Keanu Reeves' best movies. And I think the content is great. The story is excellent. Rachel Weisz is just like never disappoints, man. Always bringing like 110%. And she's just excellent, man. And everybody else in the movie is great. It's got a great look. It's got a great tone. It's just like, ugh, I don't even know. You know, I love it. I actually watched this about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I enjoyed it like I always did then, and I was happy to watch it again today.
I'm definitely on.
Got yourself a blue chip. You take that chip, put it in your pocket, save for later.
Now you got a chip in the game.
Oh, you got a chip in the big game.
I'm with you, Benny, and the Stormare camp. Like, he's definitely the highlight of the movie for me, man. Fuck, he's so good. Best devil ever on film. Love the guy. He does such a good fucking job.
Yeah.
I even liked Shia LaBeouf in this movie.
Hey, there you go. That's something. You're making progress. What step is acceptance in the 12-step program? You're in the 12-step program for Shia. You're coming all the way around.
Yeah, I've already.
It's one of the good ones for him.
Grief,
yeah,
anger, denial. No, I agree with Benny. It is one of his good ones. Like, he does a really solid job in this, you know. And I think I think just to kind of, I don't know, start on that, I guess, like, they gave him a better role. The character has a more expanded role in the script. It's not like in stupid. What's that Will Smith movie? It was it was a major disappointment to, I think, the entire group. Yeah, Yo Spoon.
Red Hot Spankable.
Red Hot Spankable.
That movie was deeply disappointing for the whole group. And this, I think, Shia LaBeouf was really good in it, man. I thought the dialogue was great that he had, and I thought that they gave him a little bit bigger role, and I thought that was good too. He was like totally instrumental in, you know, that whole part at the end with what's her face?
Tildo Baggins?
Dildo Baggins.
No. Rachel Weisz's, one of the Rachel Weisses.
Oh,
Rachel
the twins.
Weisz.
Yeah. Isabel.
Abigail.
Isabel.
Angela.
Angela.
We're going to put you in a white button-up shirt with a black bra, and you're going to be soaking wet for most of the movie.
It's funny you should mention that, because if my wife were to ever put up with this movie, all she would be focused on is that she wore a black bra under a white top. That would just freak her out. It would be the only topic of conversation.
It's kind of a valid point. Doesn't make sense.
Oh, there's so much wet t-shirt contest in this, man. Christploitation.
Totally.
That's okay, though.
Oh, hey, man.
It's okay.
I'm not complaining.
Huh?
You know what I mean? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
All right, so...
We all the same to a blind bet. Know what I mean?
No, I mean.
Your wife, is she a goer? Huh?
She a goer?
You what? She a goer? She go? She a sport?
Such a silly skit.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, man. This one was my first time ever seeing a Constantine thing, because it's from a comic. After watching it, I picked up some of the comics, I think, and like, I didn't really give a shit, to be honest. They were fine, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's very comic booky. You know, a lot of the shots are very comic booky, like kind of zoomed out on the bowling alley kind of stuff. It kind of feels like a little bit of a comic book kind of setup.
Sure.
Some of the way that the shots are done and stuff. So like, I think at the time in 2005, I'm making this shit up, but I think there's some truth to it. It was kind of novel in the comic booky space. Because like at that time it was all the Raimi Spider-Man stuff, which I have a lot of love for, but it was very traditional comic booky, whereas this kind of felt more, I don't know, different in the way that it was shot and the angles and the dark lever bullshit. So I think maybe that's part of it for me, part of the nostalgia.
Sure.
Word.
But I tend to agree. You know, it's a really solid Keanu.
Okay, that's great. Now
thanks
let's
for
hear
sharing.
from Ben.
What were you reading?
Nothing. I was just looking at what else this guy has directed, man. He did both the Hunger
directed
Games
like 653 music videos and 2 movies.
And he did the Hunger Games, Mockingjay 1 and 2. He did I Am Legend, and he did this.
I think this was his first movie, though, based on what I was looking at. It was all just music video. But yeah, like this and I Am Legend, and then a bunch of Hunger Games shit. He's done pretty good job. Wasn't really into the Hunger Games stuff, really, but
yeah, and I wasn't super into that either. But
not at all.
Now, Chad, you've done 2 high levels. Do you want to? Do you have anything?
Can I do a
else you wanna
third?
add?
Do you want me to do a third?
Yeah, go for it. Do a third. We'll call it the twosies.
11sies.
11sies, then 2sies. I don't know. Seemed logical.
I don't know. I was talking the comic bookiness. I was just trying to get us going, really.
Gotcha.
I never really. This was not a comic I would even pick up back in
Yeah.
the days when I was reading comics. Like something that was about like certainly anything that had like a heavy duty church bent to it like this is just no. You know what I mean? I never would have picked it up, and I think that's why I rolled when the movie came out. It wasn't until after. You guys, Benny in particular, was like, dude, this is really, really good. You should watch it. Is when I checked it out, and I don't know. I just, it's got a feel to it, man. I think it's, yeah, I agree. I think this is like shot in a way that people really hadn't kind of figured out how to shoot a comic book movie and make it kind of comic booky, So I think it was sort of fresh.
That isn't like
respect.
a manga or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So I think at the time it was certainly cool, and it just I don't know. I'm not in the position this time of having the fatigue. You know what I mean? Whereas I've had it in the past. This time I was not there. So
Sure.
Really liked again, like you said, Shia LaBeouf was great in this, man. I like the story. It's a great, not only is it a cool comic book movie, a great movie about, I don't really want to say mythology of Christianity or heaven and hell and all that stuff. Like
it is.
I'll call it mythology.
About,
yeah, me
well,
too.
I guess. I mean, what's that? What did you guys say?
We'll both call it mythology.
I'll call it mythology.
Okay, whatever. I mean, the mythology of, or the sort of the lore of Christianity. Maybe that's a better way to say it. I think it was a cool movie about that. I certainly, when I saw it and subsequent viewing since, and as I've gotten older, I find it very cool and interesting to check that out, especially when it's thorough and detailed and well written like this movie is. And I think it's visually, it's very, very cool, man. The way, a lot of it's shot at night, there's a lot of rain in LA where it never rains, and I don't know, there's a lot of cool things like that going on that make this movie work in a cool way, in addition to the performances. And there's a, legit kind of murder mystery in the story. And it's really good, man. It keeps you guessing, I mean, sure, I've seen the movie 20 times, whatever. It's like I know what happens, but when I watched it a month and a half ago, it had been long enough that I was like, what the hell happens in this again? And there were little bits and bobs that I couldn't figure out. Like to sum it up, it's a complex story. So it makes you think. And I like that, and you're kind of wondering what is going on and how this is all going to dope out, And I think that's, one of the strengths of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely complex. It's like a French vanilla, like it's kind of basic, but kind of not basic. You know what I mean? Like it goes along a lot of the normal tropes, the murder mystery kind of tropes, some noir stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's vanilla, but it's kind of more yellowy.
It's kind of straightforward, but there's just enough of a twist, with the Christianity stuff. Like it kind of keeps it interesting because you could pull all the Christianity stuff out and have it just be a straight murder mystery noir, and like I'd watch it.
Still works.
But you add that kind of mythology into it, and it just kind of I think you said it kept it interesting, and even if you didn't, like, it just kept it interesting. I don't know. I think French vanilla is the go for me. Like, it's, especially nowadays, like, there's so many fucking movies that make all the, weird shit, weird topics. Again, I got rose-colored glasses, but, like, back in the day, I feel like there wasn't a ton of this kind of crazy stuff, but...
No, there wasn't, man. Definitely.
I mean, there was a little bit, like Devil's Advocate was, I loved that back in the day. It's a courtroom version of this in a way. And then prophecy stuff, even the Preacher comic, which is really great, which they turned into a show. There's lots of interesting stuff in this kind of weird little genre. But
Hellboy.
Sure.
Yeah, Hellboy, exactly.
Would you
Yeah,
say
totally.
Hellboy, yeah, 100%. Hellboy is excellent, man.
I never got super into Hellboy, but I definitely have a lot of respect for it.
I did. Ben and I were really into the first and the second one, man. I was just bummed they never came out with a third one, man.
There's a new one coming out.
I think that
I just saw images the other day of the new Hellboy dude. I'm down.
Well, we had a David Harbour Hellboy that went nowhere.
Yep.
I don't know why. I didn't see it, so I can't really comment on that. But the original ones with Perlman, man, were just
Perlman is so good.
Dude. Yeah, so good.
No doubt. This is it's vanilla, but with more yellow. So
like how French vanilla has that weird yellowish tinge to it.
Exactly.
It's got more yellow, and it's got Gavin Rossdale.
It does have old Gavin.
Just days to fly, Listerine.
Listerine.
I need some Listerine.
Oh, Bush.
Listerine.
He's a
so
charmer in this, man.
This band is sponsored by Listerine.
Yes. I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything since, but he was pretty good.
Nah, he's been in like three fucking things.
He did a couple of movies, and like I don't know, he's got a cool look. He's got a cool way about him. I thought he did a good job, man.
He's a great slimy
if
demon dude.
If you took him and Flea and Ketis and you all put them in a lineup, right? And you're like, oh, I think we're gonna get these guys.
They'd probably just beat him up.
Yeah, sure. So what I was trying to say was that if you put them all in a lineup, you'd be like, and somebody was like, these three guys are going to start doing movies, man. I mean, you wouldn't really necessarily think that any of them would be any good at it, dude. And turns out they kind of all were, man.
Turns out not so bad.
Yeah. And I think maybe Gavin Rossdale a little bit more than the other two,
Probably.
So, who knows?
Yeah.
Listerine's a great song, and
good song.
Great job, Gavin.
I want to see a movie with Peter Stormare and Alan Tudyk in it, where they're
I would totally see that.
Well, they're like adversaries or buddy cops or something.
Buddy cop,
dude, a buddy cop,
similar wacky kind of energy.
Definitely. What if they're like buddy cops, but it's kind of like Training Day, where they're like bad buddy cops?
Yeah,
sure.
Something where they can try to outdo each other,
But it's like Bad Boys or whatever. It's like a buddy cop movie where they're the corrupt, fucked up cops and they're taking on all the good cops and they like just fuck shit up. I would be totally into that.
But it's the POV of the
baddies
cops.
Yeah,
where it's funny
by
too.
Yeah.
Like a dark comedy. Yeah,
totally get down with that. Sure,
dude.
All right, put it out there. Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Make it so.
Hear me, Peter Stormare. Hear me, Alan Tudyk. We need a film with
Hollywood,
the two of you in
to my
it.
ready room.
Hollywood, to my ready room.
Captain's quarters. Captain's log.
The Captain's Log. The Highline featuring the Captain's Log.
The Captain's Log. The inside joke that nobody will get.
It's okay.
I don't know. I say it a lot when we talk about these kind of nostalgia movies, where just the way that it kind of gets going quickly. Like the opening sequence with the Mexican dude who grabs the random Nazi flag and gets hit by a fucking car. There's a lot of like jump scary shit going on. And then Keanu immediately steps in. So like as a viewer, you're like, what's happening? And then Keanu comes in, he's like, I know what's up. And he saves the day with the mirror and shit. Has the argument with Shia about the mirror. He's like, if you told me it was going to be a fucking 300-pound mirror, I would have moved
the car back a couple more feet, John.
What the fuck, John?
I need a mirror.
So like there's just so much of that kind of like get you into it, confusing. Constantine is the John Wick of Constantines bullshit that you kind of get into it. So like I like it. It just jumps you right in. He's an expert.
The John Wick of occult action heroes.
Yeah, he's the John Wick of John Constantine.
Whatever. Yeah.
He's the John Wick of John Wicks.
That's it.
Movies. I think I was going to say there's not many movies in this space, but there actually are quite a few movies.
All of the movies are in this space.
No, they're not.
Even Little Buddha.
Feed you, evil demon.
Even Little Buddha had an opening like that.
Listen, Negative Nelly.
We should do Little Buddha.
You love a movie.
Child.
Ooh,
Dude, I would love to do The Golden Child. but it's got the same subject matter. So I wouldn't want Chad to get
Totally.
upset and then start hating on the movie because Chad's MO is to love
I
something.
love hating on movies.
Exactly. No, your MO is to love something, and then when all of a sudden it displeases you, you're like, I hate this movie now. Now the rest of the world
They
must
just go on a
hate this
huge rant
movie as
about it.
well. And now everyone must hate this movie.
The rest of the world must hate this movie as well.
The rest of the world must hate this movie as I do.
Yep.
You're like
ruin it for everybody.
you're like the Edmond Dantes of this podcast. You're like the Edmond
Kings to you,
Dantes of
sir.
nerds. Yeah, right. Normally, when everything's fine, you're like, yes, kings to you, Mulvey. And then when we see a movie that's terrible, you're like, they must suffer as I have suffered.
And I'm like hitting raindrops with my hands. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, you're like plotting some massive plot to make everybody hate the movie, dude.
That's how it is sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it is sometimes.
They don't call me Orange Sassy Squirtle for nothing.
That's
Gotta be
right,
sassy.
because he's
Otherwise, I just
sassy
be an Orange
and
Squirtle,
he's-
and that's boring.
They don't call you Orange Sassy Squirrel even really much anymore.
That's
so-
true. That's true
That's
too.
true. That's don't. Especially not after that Slave 2 comment.
They don't
dude.
call me Slave 2
Dude,
for
what?
nothing.
What the fuck is Slave 2? What are you guys going
Dude,
on?
don't, okay,
Kev
so
decided that
all
my
right,
new name is Slave 2. I don't know.
No. It's not just some arbitrary
No,
bullshit.
no.
Like, so I believe you were present for that, Ben, when we got into
Kev randomly was flying a Slave 2 micro machine for half of the show in the camera.
That's possible. Yeah, I think that was it, actually. I was showing off those dope-ass vintage Star Wars toys that I got.
Is this
And,
with Umberto or?
No. This
No.
was way before that. This is about a month ago.
was a
And,
couple
and
shows
we were,
ago.
Okay,
we were
all right.
talking about Slave 1, and you and I were like, yep, and Slave 1, yep, and Slave 1. And Chad was like, oh, I think it's Slave 2. And we were like, no, dude,
No.
it's Slave 1. And it's been Slave 1 since Empire.
Since forever.
And Chad was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's Slave 2. And I
I
was
remember
like,
that.
that's the moment when I
The
decided
defense
his
of the mistake
Yeah,
and this,
yeah.
the sallying forth with it. Yeah,
So
that
whenever
was-
a nerd makes an error, they are immortalized for the rest of their lives with that error. So my call sign
and
is
I
Slave 2.
guess.
is now, yes, your
I
call
mean,
sign.
sometimes I think.
Yeah. It's all right. I'm okay with it.
I like
I mean,
Slave 2.
That's fine.
Chad has 300 nicknames, and Ben and I have like one each.
You
Ben has
guys
like
have a
3.
few. Jarhead and a Jarhigo, head and a Jarhigo, Jarhigo.
Sure. And I got
Those are all the same
Moldy
one,
and
really.
Yeah, they are basically.
Giorgio Tsoukalos of the show. That's my two nicknames.
The Giorgio Tsoukalos of the show.
And the George of the show.
Aliens.
The George.
Yeah.
No, you see
Benny's
what it
got a
says
bit of a
on my
Kramer
screen?
vibe. You got the George vibe. I'm obviously Elaine.
Obviously, you're Elaine.
I am the master of gripes.
What's the deal with Elaine?
What's the deal?
What's the deal with pickles?
Get it? I like it.
Psst.
So, Constantine.
Constantine. They don't call me Slave
All
2
right.
for nothing.
What
Hey,
about
Slave 2. Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
What about Beeman? A cult.
Who is that
A
guy?
cult Q that lives in a weird bowling alley.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Dude, he is the occult Q. Totally.
he's
Totally,
great.
like
I like that.
religious artifact weapons specialist.
He's great, man.
Do you have any screeching beetles? Yes. Actually, I'm out of stock. You know?
Be careful with that. Is that dragon's
I love
breath?
when he's like, oh, is
I know
that
a guy who
dragon's
knows a guy.
fire? Yeah. That stuff was funny. I liked,
was great.
I liked him a lot because he just dabbled and, procured the most bizarre shit in the world. And that I liked.
Perhaps a bit more than dabbling.
Perhaps a bit more. I dug that he kept everything in weird jars that were glued to the ceiling. I like that a
Yes.
lot, actually.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know
I've done
why.
that actually. Would fucking pay money right now to have prepped that and put a bunch of jars on my ceiling and just tilt the camera up.
Totally. Right?
God damn.
That
If I had a
would've
time
been-
machine, I'd do that. In a bowling alley.
I mean, having a secret lair in a bowling alley is
Pretty sick.
dope as
Yeah,
it is, right?
that's
I mean,
pretty-
we're all fans of bowling.
Speak
Right.
for yourself. We're all fans of bowling.
Well, we are. We're fans of bowling and
I
bowling.
love bowling.
I'm not
I'm not
against
the best,
bowling.
but it's been a long time.
Oh, all
since
of a
I've
sudden
bowled,
you want to
but
be
I
into
do love
bowling,
doing
Chad?
it.
Because now you know that me and Jardy are into bowling.
Candlepin bowling. None of this
You know,
giant ass pin bowling.
When we were all together the other day, we could have been bowling.
We talked
instead
about
of-
bowling.
Yeah.
We did.
We did talk
And
about
it's
a good
duck
bowl.
pin, not candle pin. Duck pin
Fucking
bowling.
Connecticut
At least
bullshit. It's
That's,
candlepin.
well, that's fine. That's what we called it down here in Connecticut.
Couldn't
And that
have
is,
bowled.
as
Duck
we all
pin.
know, is the correct way.
Duck eggs.
Yeah, so Beeman was really, really cool. I'm not familiar with that actor at all, but I did like. I like this. I love the secret bowling lair. I love the jars. I love like how he had like the only copy of the Satanic Bible or whatever.
Corinthians
that has
doesn't
all
go
the
to chapter 17.
actually
the Bible
it
from
goes
hell
21
does.
in the Bible. Yeah.
There's a Satan's Bible covered in ink.
It's covered in tats, bro.
Dude, it just has lower back tats. It's just a tattoo book.
It's covered in human dandruff.
Ew.
You sounded like Sam Elliott when you said that, Ben. The Satanic
It's
Bible
covered
is
in
covered
human dandruff.
Covered in dandruff.
tattoos. I can't do it while I can see my own face. The Satanic
get turned
Bible is covered in human dandruff and tattoos. I can't do it. No, I don't get turned on.
You see yourself do a Sam Elliott in the camera and you get Randy.
The only part
Randy
you left
Newman.
out of that was telling me what a sicko I was for getting turned on at myself, even though you were the one that said it.
Oh, hey, man.
Okay, so yes, human dandruff and tattoos. Go.
So then I jumped off a building.
You're totally like George now. You're reaching down and there's nothing there.
Nothing there.
Okay, so what about Pruitt Taylor Vince? Why don't you guys reach back
Old
to your
wiggle-eyed
old
Vince?
selves? Yeah, reach back to your old selves and remember when you loved this movie. Pruitt Taylor Vince was in that movie 1900, Chad. that you
Dude,
and I
that's one of my faves.
love. Right,
Tornatore.
I like that movie too.
That's an excellent film.
But he's been in a lot of movies, and he's a solid actor, man. Always delivers a solid performance, and I really liked him in this movie, man. He was really kind of
Yeah.
like a.
He's got that creep factor in this.
Well, he does, yeah, and he's this kind of on the edge of. He's like on a razor's edge sort of priest. You know what I mean? Kind
Yeah,
of
dude.
doing what John does, but like if he gets in over his head, it's like call John, and like the whole thing of. It's funny, man. Like I never. I'm sure I did in the past, but like when I watched it today, I was like not putting together why. I always thought he was stabbing his hand for some other reason, and then I was like, no, dude, duh.
Just to
He's
feel.
putting the sign of the devil in his hand, and you know, like that
Yeah.
was just really, really cool. That whole scene in the liquor store is just it's
So good.
crazy, man. It's
Cool scene.
it's
That's a
so
cool bit.
good. It's hard to watch because it's so good and it's so well done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm convinced that Father Hennessy
Convinced?
in this, Father Hennessy in this movie is actually Haley Joel Osment, all grown up from Sixth Sense. He grows up into this alcoholic priest that sees dead people and drinks himself to death in the Combies or wherever the fuck he is.
That's his twin, Father Quavassier.
Father
good.
Nips
That's really, really
Carvassier.
Father Nips Crevassier.
Dude, Father Hennessy's so good. Such a great name.
That is great. Father Hennessy.
There's just something about the like him trying to drink and there's not being anything there, and then it's just pretty ridiculous, and I love it.
Totally. And there's Gavin Rossdale snooping around at the back next to the Twinkie section. Going on over there.
Smashing
in the Twinkie
Twinkies.
section. Smashing
Scoping
some
out the
Twinkies, or are you
Campari.
peddling some influence?
No doubt. Is he a Twinkies man or is he a chocolate Hostess cupcakes man or
I
donuts?
think I'm going to go for a
He's a
chocolate
donuts
kind of man.
He would do
No,
the 2-finger
chocolate
donuts, get it all over his suit.
Dude, I know Benny's down because I just heard of the familiar ooh when I said chocodiles because they're the best.
If he's a demon, there's only one Hostess treat that a demon would ever regard highly, and that is the snowball, which is the most perverse, disgusting, and weird thing ever invented.
I always thought those things were weird.
Are they always pink, the snowballs?
No, they were white.
They're white. Sometimes they're orange. Sometimes mostly they're pink, but you can get them in different colors occasionally.
Just the way that you paused in that delivery, Benny, was just perfect, man.
But Ben, you would agree that the sort of the original form of the snowballs is the white,
as opposed to the final form.
I feel like the later on they for holidays and final form they branched out to different colors.
I think I've seen pink more than anything, and that's
what I'm saying.
Perhaps why they're so perverse, because they're just it's just a Hostess cupcake upside down with a weird layer of toasted coconut and marshmallow over the top of it.
Totally, and no frosting
they're just
to speak of. Yeah,
they're just weird.
I feel like the pink ones are the kind of modern day ones, and then the white ones are like the uncut pure shit. Like they're all cut nowadays, like all the hard drugs are.
Sure.
To my memory, they've always been mostly pink, and occasionally I've seen white ones or orange ones or green ones or
orange ones.
But
I
have
Halloween
seen
they
that
have
too,
orange
but
ones sometimes.
Oh, Halloween!
I feel like
sure.
I feel like the reason why you see the pink ones a lot is because nobody buys them because they're so fucking weird looking, man.
I think they're always pink, man. So that's my recollection of things.
No. I'm feeling you, but I'm saying that what I'm saying is that all the white ones are bought out. People bought those because they're like, oh, snowballs.
They're so popular that only the pink ones are left.
They're called snowballs, so the white ones would make sense, right?
That would make sense. Snowballs, and then by that rationale, the orangey yellow ones, they're kind of yucky. Watch out where the Huskies go.
Watch out where the Huskies go. Don't you eat that yellow snow.
Exactly.
Right about that time, people. A fur trapper. Who is strictly from commercial.
They need to make a new ad of snowballs with that song. Strictly commercial.
I think Frank Zappa would have been a good inclusion to this movie.
No doubt. He would have totally been an edgelord.
Yeah, him and his mustache, dude.
Oh, that fucking mustache.
He was an edgelord.
Hall of Fame mustache, dude.
Was great.
Totally
Hall of Fame mustache.
His mustache had a guitar.
He was 3 of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
His mustache's guitar wants to kill your mama.
Okay, so I agree. Gavin Rossdale as Balthazar definitely only eats pink
snowballs. Pink snowballs.
I agree that he would eat
the pink ones just to fuck with you, Kev, because he doesn't want the white ones.
Sure.
They're too pure.
Sure. I understand that.
They're much less
fundamentally,
perverse.
I understand it.
Fundamentally. And Tilda Swinton obviously eats the yellowy orange frosted cupcakes to match her ginge hair.
Sure. That makes sense too.
I think she's quite fond of Twinkies.
Reading about her, man, she's got some crazy pedigree, bro. Like, she's Scottish. Really? She was born in Scotland or lived in Scotland. And her family's been there since the 800s. She's like a fucking Highlander, dude. I'm into it.
Tracks.
I like her.
Oh,
I
awesome.
just watched I just found The Beach somewhere and watched it recently, like in the last month. I haven't seen that in a while.
That was the first time I ever saw her.
That was the first time I ever saw her too.
Yeah, she was such a weird looking,
interesting
person.
Different.
Like, what the fuck is going on with this girl?
Yeah, I thought she was a really good choice for the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, that sounds like something you get at like Applebee's.
Sorcerer Supreme.
Right?
Is it a burger? Is it an ice cream sundae? Is it a
little bit of both?
I think it's a buffalo chicken sandwich.
Okay.
With an ice cream sundae wrapped in the middle.
Buffalo chicken sandwich with a scoop of orange sherbet on top.
I think it's an omelet.
Ooh.
This is starting to sound like the Taco Town commercial. But wait, there's more.
Yeah, man, she's great. She's in so much good shit. Tons of Coen Brothers stuff. some Wes Anderson stuff. She's great.
Yeah, really great. The Beach.
And she's fucking great as an androgynous Gabriel here.
Yes.
Agree. Yeah, no, she does it. I mean, she's, I don't know, we've never really kind of dug in on her, but like, you know, she's sort of easy to dismiss because she's so good. So
Yeah.
she's really good at playing somebody that's edgy and you're not quite sure if they're evil. She's really good at playing somebody evil. She's really good at playing somebody not evil. And she's funny as well. It's like
hilarious.
she can play in any one of those spaces and do brilliantly, man, to the point that you would be dismissive of her. You know what I mean? Because you're just like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about it. In the sense that like, you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about her because she's so damn good. Let me focus on these other people over here. You know what I mean? So I really, really like that quality about her. So it's always delightful to see her, even though sometimes she's so good, she's giving me anxiety.
Delightful Death.
Yes, delightful death.
Bada bing.
Gar.
Yeah, she's versatile for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, she's recently in the Fassbender movie, The Killer or whatever. I enjoyed her in that.
Yeah, she was great. That's a great movie. I
Steve
really enjoyed that.
Fassbender.
Yep, Steve
Yeah.
Fassbender.
Old Steve-O.
He hangs out with Jason Momoa. I mean, Randy Momoa. That's a death.
That's
He
a
was,
death. Dude, you're racking
my
them.
boss.
Stacking them.
My boss back when I worked at Bartlett Tree Experts.
I was just talking about your tenure with Bartlett Tree to a friend of mine, my buddy that I had dinner with tonight, and explaining where I learned the term horsecock.
Ah, yes.
There you go.
Man, look at that horse cock! Shit, got it!
Is that a colloquial term for a big old limb that's still got a chunk left on a tree or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
Yes, when
Yeah,
you
okay.
cut most of the branch off, but then leave like a
A giant throbbing horsecock.
a giant throbbing horse cock. Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
And forget.
I did not
It's,
know
you
that
know,
was a thing.
you forget to remove it, and then that's the embarrassment. It's bad form.
Gotcha.
Leave that there.
You had to climb back up there and hold a bris.
Yes, the tree bris.
The twinsies thing is an interesting angle.
How so?
I don't know. It's just like it's another sprinkling of vanilla into the vanilla sundae. Like Rachel Weisz has an identical twin who's crazy, who jumps off a building. But did she kill herself or did she not kill herself? Let's hold a cat and find out.
Yeah, but that's the whole...
I know, it's the whole
Thing
thing.
of the
I like
movie.
it. It's an interesting angle. It kind of like gets
Yeah,
you into
I do
it.
too.
There's that like Constantine is a total prick to her.
It's like the lethal weapon portion of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like when
It's
actors
the Amanda
play...
Hunsaker of the movie.
There you go.
Yeah, I like when an actor plays like twins. Like it's hard to do, and she did a good job of it. And even though Isabel doesn't like a lot of speaking parts and all that kind of thing, like it was still cool to see,
Mm.
and a cool angle in the story, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when
yeah.
she watches that video and she says Constantine. I
Constantine.
was like, whoa, weird.
And she's got a little bit of Haley Joel Osment going too, you know, seeing and hearing dead people. Why do I know who to shoot and where to shoot? Why do I know? I don't know. There's just maybe it's like there's something about the like, it's not plausible, but like explaining the Christian bullshit, you know, being like, hey, you know, all this weird stuff here folks like force you to listen to in church. Well, this is what it really means. Ancient Alien style, you know? And like, it's actually real, and this non-believer now believes it, and we're going to go and punch the devil in his horse cock. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's something attractive about like definitively saying that it's true for all of these random ass reasons. Let's make a movie about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying.
Maybe what I'm saying is like one of the threads that is attractive or like enjoyable about the movie is if it states definitively in this universe that A, B, and C are real for D, E, and F reasons.
Yes.
Here
Yes,
is
yes,
all of
yes.
the shit that comes out of it, and it just like crystallizes and gives clarity to this unknowable religious bullshit that we've been dealing with for thousands of years. And like just like in Ancient Aliens or whatever, like it's just made up, but it's something enjoyable about going on the ride, I guess. And like Rachel Weisz's character is the one that's like a believer then a non-believer, and then she comes back to again to be a believer, and it turns out that she could see dead people all along, and the fucking devil's kid's gonna come out of her stomach or whatever. Like
sure. I mean, in this case, there's been some, I think, like compelling. Outside of the horror genre, there's been some pretty compelling fiction that revolves around that sort of thing. Like we brought up, like I thought Preacher was great, and Hellboy, stuff like that.
Did you watch all of The Preacher, Benny, or I only watched a little bit of it? I've read it, obviously, but yeah, is it good all the way through? It's like fucking 4 seasons or whatever.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Yeah, I need to pick it up.
I very much enjoyed it. It was very well cast and very well done.
It's a great cast. Did you get into that one at all, Kev? Yeah, I remember last time we talked, you hadn't watched it. It's a really great comic. I had the comic back in the day. I read all of that. That's great. I gotta check out the show.
That's what I'm most familiar with. Yeah, the show. No,
that show's very.
And I didn't even read the comic. It just was popular at the time. So a lot of people talking about it in various comic circles.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's like an attractive piece of it.
I don't know either. What are you talking about? The Twinsies thing or the Preacher thing?
Yeah, the Rachel Weisz thing and then the Jesus-y thing.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I agree with you. I think that portraying first the comic, then the movie, portraying all of these elements of Christianity in this way definitely painted it in a new light. Like that, and I think for me, probably The Prophecy with Christopher Walken. Those two movies, those two movies, like really kind of made me be like, wow, this is very interesting and different. Like talking about other parts of Christianity that I never heard before, you know what I mean? And like some really interesting and quite scary stuff as well. I thought that was a definitely a cool element of this movie. You know what I mean? So,
Testament shit.
Yeah, sure.
It's kind of vampire-y, but it has like more lore behind it with all of the religious stuff, in a way.
Definitely.
Like, this could have easily been a vampire movie, for example. Not that it would have been better, but like,
right.
You kind of could sub it out to a degree.
Right, but that's what I think that was the draw, certainly for me when I first saw it, was like that you had elements like that, but they were in this context, right? This context of God and the devil and Christianity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with the molding of the bullets and like the dude with the jars and all these different little cures and things and talismans for all these different things. And I liked how many there were. You know what I mean? It was much more expansive than vampire lore, which is very, kind of like set in its lane, and it fits nicely in its lane, and all those things kind of run in its lane. I think that, like, one of the cool things about Near Dark, when we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, was that that whole idea of a transfusion was even in Bram Stoker's Dracula, you know what I mean? But in like these subsequent sort of future versions of it, it's sort of been phased out because it's like nobody really wants to hear that or talk about that. But I thought that was one of the coolest things about Near Dark, you know what I mean? So, it was cool to learn some new little bit of lore about that. And I really enjoyed I think that's what one of the coolest things about this movie is that lore set that goes with all of this stuff of a subject matter that I just, certainly when I was a kid, was just like, yeah, no, I can't do this anymore. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to. Growing up and being forced to go to church is like a great way to learn how to hate church and
no doubt about
the Bible and all that stuff. Yeah, and I did it. That's how it was for me. So it was cool to see this and kind of like get jazzed about this and be like, oh, wow, this is some much, much, much deeper pool here than I ever thought of interesting stuff, true or untrue.
Yeah, man. 2 frogs on a bench. There's something very cool about all that, like, card shit, the secret club shit. It was kind of like John Wick lore-ish
Yeah,
before
it totally was.
John Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but kind of, yeah.
Johnny
Sort of
Midnight's
cooler,
Club.
kind of.
Yeah, dude. Papa Midnight.
But it's like a kind of, all those people were like whatever and had all kinds of weird powers, good and evil and whatever. I don't know. That was, cool. I
Super
dug
cool.
it. And I dug that Jaimin Hansu was the leader of the whole thing. It's just
That's
so
it.
cool.
And I love Shia LaBeouf, like, not being able to get by the bouncer or whatever. It was really funny, dude. Yeah, 2 frogs on a bench. A rat in a dress.
Rat in a dress.
Silly, and I
that was
loved
pretty
it.
funny.
Bobs and Bits.
Bobs and Bits, man, go. Unless we left out a major player in the story. I mean, we didn't really talk about Rachel Weisz, but,
Yeah. I mean, we
don't
can, Jaimin Hansu. We've talked about them all kind of a bunch throughout.
Okay.
I'm happy to talk about
Did
them
we?
more, but
No, I'm asking, did we talk about Rachel Weisz or not?
we did a little bit.
Brought up the, fact that she played twins. And a bit there.
Like, all right, if you want to go there, like, one thing I was thinking about saying recently, like a few minutes ago, is like, I actually like her as an actor, but she really kind of plays the same shit in a lot of movies. Like, she's very damsel-y, and maybe she just does damsel shit really well. But, like, she's got the, like, do I make you fall in love with her thing down fucking pat. And
sure, but
it fits here for this character, but other than that, it's not really doing much for me.
I mean, if she's doing damsel, which I don't know if I agree or not. If she's doing damsel, she's like the kick-ass, super capable kind. And the two that jump into my mind are The Mummy and this.
Yep, Mummy.
Yep.
I
mean, she was guns blazing in The Mummy, dude.
Yeah. Who didn't love her in The Mummy? You got Enemy at the Gates, Vasily Zaitsev.
Same thing. Vasily Zaitsev, yeah.
So I've always loved her. You know, she's actually really good in is The Brothers Bloom. I don't know if you ever saw that. It was Ryan Johnson, same dude who did Brick and the Star Wars movie that sucks a bag of bricks.
Ruin Johnson?
Yeah, yes. Ruin Johnson. Exactly. I love it how much shit he's gotten for his Star Wars movies. It's so sad.
Poor guy. I know.
But that's a good movie, man. Brothers Bloom. It's like a con man movie with Adrian Brody and Mark Ruffalo and her, and it's quite enjoyable if you've ever heard of it. She's great in that.
Ruffalo the Buffalo, sure.
That's it. So that's
I've never seen it.
I don't know. Like half of me is kind of like meh on Rachel Weisz's chops, and then the other half of me slaps me in the face and says, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie," because I'm Donnie Wahlberg.
Because Rachel Weisz.
I feel like she's like the cromulent soundtrack music that like you don't quite notice.
I think that's good. Yeah,
because I
think that's good. Good description.
I mean,
what about The Fountain though, Ben?
Yeah, I'm looking at The Fountain now, and I'm like, I think that's probably the most. That's the movie that's sticking out in my memory now the most. Like I was going through her IMDb here, and like as
you're not gonna get any argument.
Oh, she was in The Fountain.
Man.
Oh yeah, I remember. Okay.
We don't talk algorithm anymore, but for nostalgia's sake, The Fountain is number 1 on the algorithm. So,
wow. Really?
Yep, it's my number 1 all time. That is a fucking fantastic movie.
How bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very good movie.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's that conversation we had about sometimes the soundtrack is really good when it isn't in your face, and I think that's a reasonable description.
Yeah, I'm certain I've seen her in a bunch of things. She's never done anything that's made me go like, ugh, she sucks.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing movies that I've seen. She's been in a lot of stuff that I haven't seen, but from the stuff that I've seen, like she's always been.
A lot of people love that Lobster movie, which I thought was fucking stupid, but she's good in that too.
It wasn't as funny as I'd hoped it would be.
Okay. All right, bits and bobs.
Random cross shotgun thing. Pretty fucking James Bond and cool.
I definitely like that cross shotgun. That thing was sweet.
It's pretty dumb, but I love it.
It's kind of dumb, but it's a holy weapon. So I kind of got over my problem with
holy
holy
weapon?
shaped weapons. Yeah, a while ago. You know.
Yeah.
No.
Not so much here, but
It's
that's
a holy weapon. It was like just the right amount of dumb that I'm into it. I don't know, man. What other moments are good? Like that final, to your point earlier, the third act stuff, Benny, the like shoot him up in the psych ward into Stormare.
Yep.
Pretty legit.
Yeah.
Holy water and the sprinkler system's pretty clever. Like there's some clever stuff.
Yes. Little.
The holy water in the sprinkler system was so brilliant, man.
It's pretty genius.
I was like,
I just
that's
thought
what
that
they
was
should have done in
fantastic.
Blade.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly, man. Exactly. You know?
Fucking Blade. I'll never, ever get over the fact that they had to digitally open Snipes' eyes because he refused to open his eyes. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I kind of think we should put ourselves through all of those movies, and then I immediately regret thinking that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the first one. I don't know. That's the one that had Chris Christopherson in it.
Yes.
Oh God! All right.
What's
yeah,
the one where Ryan Reynolds plays like proto
Deadpool? That's the third one?
Hannibal,
Yeah.
not Lecter. No, that's the third one. That's the third one
That was
with Jessica Biel,
Jessica fucking Biel.
right? Yeah.
Man, movies were bad in those
all right.
days.
Yeah, some of them were for sure, man. What are you? So what else? Bits and bobs.
I'm just gonna go full Stormare, dude. Like him
Whatever.
coming in was the tar dripping off his feet, culminating in him pulling the fucking cancer out of his lungs. Like, god damn, dude. I think I'm kind of with you, Benny, that like from now on I'm just gonna watch that 10-minute scene on YouTube whenever I have a hankering for this movie, and then every once in a while I'll watch the whole movie.
it's really good. He's just terrific. He totally steals the show. And he just comes in for like, whatever, fucking 5 minutes at the end.
5 minutes. I saw something in the Nug space where like the producers and director wanted him to be like shirtless with leather pants and a dog collar, and then Stormare's like, nah, I want to do my own costume, and he brought the white suit and the tar, and like just I love Stormare even more for bringing that, because like honestly, dude, it is the best devil in any movie ever. Like kicks the shit out of Devil's Advocate, which is a very screamy devil, and like all the other devils are whatever, all the other devils are like the traditional Dracula bullshit. Dracula always looks the same. The devil always looks the same. And
There's been
fuck
some
me, doesn't
decent
hit home
portrayals out there,
Sure.
but this one is very
This is-
unique.
this one's
it's
apex.
good. And it's just Peter Stormare, man. He's just, I don't know. When he does like a bad guy, he's really good.
Yeah, man, no doubt.
Yeah, I liked him in John Wick a lot, or John Wick 2 rather, and I really liked him in I don't know why so
Fargo.
memorable is that scuzzy. No, dude, that scuzzy eye doctor in Minority Report.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I need to revisit that one.
That in particular is like my sort of Peter Stormare. That's Peter Stormare to me.
He was terrific in American Gods.
I need to watch that.
I know. I've heard that that's really good. It's got Ian, old leather gym bag himself.
Old leather
Ian
gym bag
Bashir,
face himself.
right?
Yeah.
Old leather gym bag himself.
McShane.
What else? Oh, shout out to Jose Zuniga, man, who had a very, very small and brief part in this, but we really loved him in The Expanse, and just really give a shout.
Yep.
Definitely.
Bull Randleman, I think he was in The Expanse.
No, Bull Randleman was in Band of Brothers, dude.
He was Bull. He was Bull in The Expanse.
His name was
Which
Bull.
is-
Yes, it was Bull.
Good call on the Bull Randleman. I was like, why is that? Why do I want to say Bull Randleman? I'll take a
Yeah,
Band
you know
of
what?
Brothers death there.
I got to give you a death for that, bro.
Yeah, that's
Either one of us. Yeah, that's pretty egregious considering we just talked about the Pacific and Band of Brothers like a week
But
ago.
Bull, what was What was the really badass Native American chick that's in The Expanse? What was her character name? Drummer. Kamina Drummer.
There you go.
So Bull, the character of Bull, we talked about this in The Expanse, but the character Bull essentially was Drummer, and Drummer was kind of a nothing burger. So like, it's a shame he didn't get, more in The Expanse, but like Drummer is so fucking great.
Yeah, Cara G is the best. She was just in the final season of Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a Who's Drummer death.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Sweet Tooth. Was that the like deer antler fucking
Yes.
animal show or whatever? Yeah.
Yes.
I know nothing about the show as evidenced by my
That's
comment.
not really what it's about, but
Yeah.
You've clearly seen a trailer or something. So
I've seen the like thumbnail or whatever. Yeah. I think we've talked about it a little bit here and there.
Yeah, anyways, Cara G shows up in the final season.
Nice.
Yes.
She's awesome.
In a very non-drummer character.
Yeah, right.
I mean, cool, but and brave, but not like, badass. Like Drummer is just kind of a nerdy chick. So
that's it. Cool. I love to see her getting work.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
All right, any more bits and bobs?
The one thing I will say, maybe as my closing bit, is I love that there was no love story here. I love that they didn't fucking kiss and there's none of that bullshit.
Same. No, it made the movie good. It was a huge part of it.
Yeah, that would have been insufferable.
They made a good
especially
choice.
On this particular watching.
That's it, yeah. And I guess Rachel Weisz was saying that like she kind of wanted there to be one, but they chose not to do one. And she was like, I'm glad. She literally is just like, I wanted to kiss Keanu Reeves, which is like, right on, whatever. I want to kiss Keanu Reeves. But they didn't shoot one. And she's like, if they shot one, the studio would have used it. So I'm glad they didn't shoot one, which I totally agree with. Yeah. If they had shot one, the studio would have totally forced that down our fucking throats.
No, it would have ruined an excellent movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, not necessary.
Dude, this video is glitching out like crazy.
Yeah, I like it. You kind of like got a Max Headroom thing going on.
Total Max Headroom. I was just thinking the same thing. Nice. Yeah.
Nuggets, deaths.
All right, Nuggets,
ratings.
deaths, ratings. I only have one nugget that I'm really interested in, but I'm open to more. Yeah.
Well, let's hear it, man.
I just, I don't know. I feel like every time I turn around, it's like, oh, this whole thing was created by Alan Moore, who was displeased with how he was portrayed in Hollywood. And I didn't realize Alan Moore did this character as well, dude. And I just think that's cool because he's prolific and really great. He's a legend.
He's the original neckbeard, bro.
He is kind of the original neckbeard, but the guy's got serious talent behind him to back it up, So when he was on Swamp Thing is when he created John Constantine. And then following his negative experience with From Hell and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, he was like, basically, fuck you, and I don't want your money, and we'll give it to the artist, and fuck you, man, again. So I don't know, just kind of cool to see that he learned that he was the creator,
progenitor.
I mean, Constantine's a cool character, man. There's no
cool character.
It's kind of like one of the only, not the only, but one of the only in that kind of space, sort of.
I like that he's got shitty morals generally and kind of doesn't give a fuck.
I like that too.
It's kind of like that Western
vibe
a little bit.
No, he's like the kind of reluctant sheriff, reluctant hero, whatever. Yeah, right. I'll go kill everybody in there for you. Sure.
Yeah. Which has a little bit, it doesn't at all, but I'm going to segue it into my nugget, which is it has a little bit of Billy Butcher kind of amoral stuff. And, Garth Ennis was involved with that. But the security guard in the morgue, when Hennessy goes in and fondles Vice's dead body, is Laz Alonso, who plays Mother's Milk in The Boys, which I thought was kind of a cool little nug.
Ooh, I like that, man.
A very early role for Mr. Alonso. I got to watch the new season.
Who no longer plays Mother's Milk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They shit can or something?
I don't know what happened. Who's been recast? Maybe I have to leave. Yeah.
Laz has been recast in The Boys?
Yes.
No shit. That's a shame. Yeah, I haven't watched the new season.
More of the same.
Yeah. Giant penises and stuff.
I'm always psyched when the season starts, and then I just get frustrated.
Fair enough.
What else?
That's it. No more nugs.
Deaths.
You had some going.
No, it's 2-2, bro. I had a delightfully dead death, yeah, and then I had the Randy not Jason Momoa death, and then you had the Bull Randleman death, and then I gave you a Who's Drummer death because that was pretty bad.
I don't think the drummer. I'll take it, whatever. But
you will take it.
You will take it, and you will like it.
Okay, I take it back. He has not been recast. He just lost a bunch of weight or something. So.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Apparently, like both Chris and I were like, they recast him? What the fuck?
Well, that's a Higgs death.
And so we both died, but apparently lots of people were confused.
Okay.
All right. Benny just earned himself a Laz recast.
An admission of a death.
I like it.
Nice.
And I know that this is the traditional slab trying to like manufacture deaths out of nothing, but like I kind of feel bad about talking shit about Rachel Weisz and should probably die for that, but I'll get over it.
I am not going to give you a death for that.
I kind of feel bad about it.
Were you talking shit about her?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. Mel Gibson and Kevin Spacey were considered for the roles of John Constantine, which is crazy.
What? That is insane, dude. Kevin Spacey?
Can you imagine, dude?
That would have been a disaster. Holy shit.
It would be so bad.
If there was ever an actor there was ever a role that so do I. If there was ever a role that he should not be in, it's this one.
So that's it.
I kind of want the like multiverse cable box from Rick and Morty so I can see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, that is such a great episode.
That is such a great episode. All right, so that's Death's recommendations.
Too many Jan Michael Vincents.
There's no one that listens to the show that hasn't seen this movie. I mean, I just can't believe it. So would I recommend this movie? I kind of would recommend that you maintain your nostalgia for this movie and not watch it again for fear that it kind of takes away from it, unless you're in like a really great headspace for it. I was in a surprisingly not great headspace for it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't like love it.
I get that. Yeah, and I don't think that has anything to do with the movie. I think it has everything to do
I think
with
you're right.
Your particular mood in this particular day, in this particular week, in that particular city, in that particular continent, in that particular province of Australia.
Would you recommend it, Max Headroom?
I would. I think as far as movies in this sort of space, this is definitely one of the better ones, man. And it did it in its own unique way. Like the prophecy was cool, but it was like kind of minimal, you know what I mean? And like had this kind of minimalist kind of feel to it, which I dug. The only other one that I can really think of is if I'm getting this right, I think it's Legion with Paul Bettany, who was like
yeah.
Like there was like a bunch of angels that were like attacking or about to attack, and like all these people holed up at this gas station, and it was like I don't know, it was a cool movie, like definitely not as good as like maybe Prophecy or this, but
kind of B-ish,
I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it had like A-list actors in it, you know,
Dennis Quaid.
what would become A-list actors. Yeah, Dennis Quaid. There you go. So, you know, like that was kind of interesting, and you know, but really more like just angels. Like what I like about this movie is that it really just kind of focuses on all these different facets of like hell and going to hell and being a Catholic and like all that kind of thing and what it means. It's very. It doesn't just, you know, have a lot of throwaway comments where it's like, oh, well, you need a screech beetle. Like it talks about what that shit is and what it does. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about it, you know? And to that end, one of the things that I forgot to shout out in bits and bobs was the guy that was just like the bundle of insects that attacked Constantine on the street. I really like that whole sequence. I thought it was really good. But getting back on topic, I think that's sort of what's cool about this movie. So, you know, that plus the excellent performances. I really like the way that the movie was directed. I liked the cinematography and the music. Didn't really notice it can't really comment on that. But yeah, I think it's a great movie, man, and I would absolutely recommend it. And I agree. Every nerd that's listening to this has probably already watched it. Go watch it again. Fucking nerds.
Bada
You've
bing.
probably already seen it. If you haven't, it's definitely worth the watch.
It's worth the watch if you haven't seen it. Yeah.
I was a little grumpy on this viewing. I wasn't even grumpy. I just was, I don't know, whelmed.
Man.
Like it just didn't hold my attention. I don't think that's necessarily the movie's fault. I think it, probably just had to do with being wrong place, wrong time. And that happens doing what we do, sometimes you end up watching a movie where you're just not like ready for it for whatever reason, and it doesn't tickle your fancy correctly in comparison to previous viewings or whatever. And sometimes like you watch something and you're like, no, that definitely sucks. Like I don't know what I was thinking. This isn't that. It just didn't hit me this time. So in my view, it's intact and it's a solid movie and it's definitely worth a watch.
Agreed.
There you have it, folks. Intact and worth a watch. Slabo, what are we doing next week?
I will say before we next week get that, like, I'm interested in the new one. This, director and Keanu and Stormare have signed up for Constantine 2, which is evidently in production. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I mean, who fucking knows? But I'm down.
I'm
down too, man.
I mean, I want to see more stuff in this space. I just have a soft spot for this micro genre, and like for it to be a Constantine movie instead of something else. Like, I'm down, dude. I'll watch it.
I don't know if there's good writing involved and people are going to flesh out cool lore. I'm totally down to watch it. Just like I am anything, man. I mean, Christ.
Now I want to go watch
knitting.
Preacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch Preacher. It's very good.
Such a good comic.
All right. Slave 2. What are we doing next week?
Slave 1. I don't know. We don't have anything on the docket. Benny, you want to pick one? You want to do one of the ones that you recently watched that you were talking about earlier? Anything come to mind for you? You should pick one.
Yeah,
especially if you're not here the week after.
Let's do Beekeeper.
All right. I'm down with that.
I'm down with that too.
It's a good, stupid
Beekeeper.
Good, stupid action romp with fucking
Statham. I don't know how I feel about Statham.
I'm not a fan of
Why,
Statham.
dude?
I'm not a fan of
he's
Statham.
so-
Like,
dude,
I love him
I
in
love him.
Snatch, but like, I just don't give a shit about
great.
Statham.
Why? He's such a great
I don't
action
know.
guy.
I don't know. It'll be a good topic
Dude,
of conversation.
What's the name of those movies?
I think this
Go
was
ahead, Ben.
Statham being used correctly. Like
Nice.
Yeah.
it was good because I'm not a huge fan either. So I watched it. Like I was like, am I gonna watch this? Like fuck. Like I'd seen the trailer. It seemed like it was a movie that was going to just be a fun sort of like revenge thing and not taking itself too seriously. And that's more or less what it was.
Like, I've got respect for Statham's career. Like, he's had a great run. Like, kudos to the dude for making the magic happen. But I've just never really had much of a thing for him. I'm interested in being, shown an example of him being used well. I'm excited. This trailer did not excite me, and I'm really happy to hear that you dug it. Because if you dug it, man, I'm watching it.
Well, if you watch the trailer and like me, you're like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was just like,
which I was.
It's a Hollywoody movie.
You'll be okay with it. Like it's nothing you should take too seriously. It's just a good fun action romp that's like kind of dumb.
Should be interesting.
I've never watched any of the Expendables stuff. So.
Oh, dude, the Expendables.
I haven't watched any of
them.
Yeah,
they're great.
Nor the Transporter stuff,
dude. The Transporter, the first one was really, really good. I watched all of them. I don't know. I really thought,
or any of the Fast and Furious bullshit. It's just not my flavor.
They were good. The Expendables were really good, dude. If when I went and saw the Expendables, I think it was the third one. Like it was so great. I was sitting in the movie theater laughing, and I remember everybody. It was on Nantucket, and everybody was like turning around and looking at me like I had 20 heads. Like I wasn't supposed to be laughing. I was like, what do you idiots not get? This is like a total send up of action movies. Yeah. It's supposed to be stupid, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's totally what this is.
you had the like kids in the hall like woohoo thing there.
I was
supposed to be a
I was just like I was sitting there laughing and everybody. I remember people turning around and looking at me, and I was like, "What?
You guys just don't get it.
You just don't get it." This is a pill
that gives
for the
worms
world.
to ex-girlfriends.
Exactly.
I love that.
Jesus Christ.
I'm into it.
Anyway.
Beekeeper next week, everybody.
Beekeeper.
Tune in.
Beekeeper next week. Tune in or don't show up.
Man.
Yeah, you whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say. Goodbye for now.
Go watch it because it's dumb.
Bye.
Bye.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. If you'd like to donate to our organization, you can on Patreon. That's right, patreon.com. Donate to us. That helps us keep the lights on.
patreon.com/EBD podcast.
EBD podcast. Thank you, Chad, for the assist on the outro. Also, if you'd like to further assist us, you can rate us and review us. You can also tell your friends and family and loved ones to check out the show. All that stuff is really important and it really helps us out. And to those of you that have already done it, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you'd like to find us on social media, you can find us on Instagram at EBD Podcast. And if you'd like to check out the show notes for this episode, you can do so in your podcast app choice or at our website ebd.fm/episodes/264. Chad.
Four to the floor.
Four to the floor. Thanks for joining us for Constantine, and we'll see you next week for Beekeeper. Woohoo! Woo. So long for now, folks.
Beady. Stop into it.